It's your girl T here, back with the TTime Tuesday video. I know y'all are having a beautiful, blessed day because you're tea timers. It's absolutely what we do. Our affirmation of the day is, I see massive movement in my 3D. We see massive movement in our 3D. We're tea timers, so we're always seeing the most massive movement in our 3D because we always get what we want. I wanted to talk to y'all today again about living in the 4D, not the 3D. A lot of y'all are writing to me and telling me that your SP's doing this and that in the 3D, and y'all are falling into those circumstances. By circumstances, what I mean is, if you're in no contact with your SP and you're assuming the worst of them, your SP said something to you to upset you, you're in a situationship with your SP and it's not working out the way that you had envisioned in your mind, and you're throwing your hands up and living in the 3D. Circumstances don't matter because we control the narrative. So the way it works is, we imagine something in our mind or we think something in our mind. It usually evokes an emotion after we see a picture of it in our mind, because our subconscious speaks in pictures, as we all know. Then that thought might make us feel nervous, anxious, mad, sad, what have you. And if we keep thinking about it repetitively, we usually see it play out according to what we're thinking or believing or assuming in our reality. You'll say, oh, I was just thinking about you when you called, or, oh, that's how I thought that would end and it did. It's because we create our own reality. So if our subconscious is being fed continuously on a loop, the worst case scenario for everything we see in our 3D reality, that is what is going to manifest, and that is what we're going to perpetually see over and over. And what happens when we see a circumstance repeat itself over and over? We start believing that that is our reality, and we start believing that it's predictable, our reality, because we are re-manifesting the same circumstances on a continuous loop, because we are believing that we have no control over them and we don't have the power in these circumstances to interrupt the repetitive loop. But alas, we do. We can change any circumstance by working on the way our belief system is, the way our thought process goes, and what narratives we assign to the things within our reality. So if we're in no contact with our significant person, this is a beautiful time. Most people look at it as a negative thing, but this is a great time for you to work on your concept of yourself, how you view your SP, what your SP should view you as, and how your relationships go in your reality. I've always had easy relationships in my reality. Everyone I love loves me 10 times more. Love is easy for me. Love works for me. I'm always first best, etc., etc. A lot of you will be in no contact with an SP and you'll just be like, he texts me, 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 until the person texts you. Cool, you get a text, but what happens after? You go back and forth on a few texts, they do something that triggers an insecurity within you, and you go back into that no contact because you blow up at them and they take off again. You need to work on the concept that you have of yourself, your SP, your relationship styles, how love looks for you. If you grew up in a household that didn't give you a good model of how love looks, you might want to work on what love, romantic relationships mean to you, look like for you, are going to play out for you, etc. When you're creating a movie, if all your movie had in it was the guy texts you, the romantic interest texts you, but it had no other storyline. There was no how they met, what was going to happen after, what their relationship looked like, how they were going to be there, what they were going to interact like. Your storyline was simply the two people texted each other, and that was the end of the story. It's not going to be a hit movie. You want to be creative in your movie. Oh, me and my SP are so in love. We have the best relationship. We're spiritually, mentally, physically connected. We have the best intimate connection in the world. They don't look at anybody but me. They help me grow. They support everything I do. We're financially in sync. We know how we like to spend our money. We share a bank account. We want to have kids in the future. We raise our kids together if it's a blended family. We have the same spiritual goals. We have the same physical goals. We want to lose weight together. We want to glow up together. This is how creative you can get when you're in no contact with your SP. And it's a beautiful thing because you don't have them in your face in your 3D all the time, messing with your imagination, your imaginal acts. You have free time to do imaginal acts without having to interact with them in 3D. So when they come back to you in the 3D, after you're done working on yourself and planning out your future together, you'll be rock solid. You'll be like, oh yeah, I planned this all out and it's just playing out the way I imagined it. Now, if you're interacting with your specific person and they're not showing you the behavior that you wanted to see, cool, choose a different version of them. They're texting you, I never want to talk to you again. Oh, I must have hit the wrong version of SP because they would never say that to me. I love that SP always wants to talk to me. We're in constant communication. They always treat me like the queen or king because that's what I am. If you are dating and they're not talking about moving in together, I'm so happy me and my SP are moving in together. I'm so grateful that they've already picked out the house. How is it so easy to move in with my SP? Why do we find such a beautiful home together? If you're trying to get married, you're past the living together stage or you're at the point where you want to marry them. I can't believe I had such a romantic engagement with my SP. I'm so thankful that they proposed to me the way that they did. It was so beautiful. I'm crying now thinking about it. I had the most beautiful engagement for my SP. Imagine it as you go to bed at night. Tell yourself this all day. Your subconscious doesn't know real from fake. All it knows is what you're continually focused on, feeding it, reeling in your mind, staring at. Do you ever notice when you look on your TikTok feeds about certain things over and over, it'll show you more of those things? The algorithm will pick up that you're focused on that one specific subject matter in your feed. It's because where your energy goes and your focus flows, this is what will remanifest. So think of your world as a TikTok feed. If you're continually putting negative spins on everything your manifestations are doing, like you're manifesting money and your bank account has a lower balance than you want to see, and you're like, oh, that's it. Money doesn't come so easy to me. It may come easy to Katie, Bruce, or Stu, but it comes so hard. Where did I get those names from? Anyways, but it comes so hard for me. I always get a bill. I can't even make money fast enough. The bills just overtake all my money. Or you look at that low bank account balance. Isn't it so great? My bank has so much room for all the money on its way to me. Isn't it so fabulous that money's coming in? I can feel it. It's so great. Money's going to show up for me overnight. It's all about what you perceive the narrative to be. If you're constantly assuming the worst, so be it. You will get the worst. If you're constantly assuming that everything in your world is perfect and things will always work out for you, guess what? Your brain has no choice but to do what you tell it to do and what you are telling it to do on a day-to-day basis. It's like, I watched this video on Eminem, you know, the rapper Eminem, yesterday. He's a super famous rapper. He was at the height of his career. He's like a multi-millionaire. He was selling bazillion records a day. And he asked his accountant if he could afford a Rolex, which is a high-end watch, but it's like thousands of dollars. When you're making millions of dollars, that's nothing. But he grew up in a financial fiscal environment in a trailer park. He probably has really low money ideas where he feels like money's hard to come by, you have to cling on to the little bit you have, etc., etc. And from that question alone, and the fact he wears a G-Shock watch to this day, which there's nothing wrong with G-Shocks, but they're like $100 watches. When you have millions of dollars, you would assume the person would buy a higher end watch. He probably has views on money that came from a poor money mentality at the beginning. What I'm trying to explain to you, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to spend your money, you don't want to spend your money. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter externally what you look like, what you're perceived to be, etc. Your mentality is what's going to decide and decipher your reality for you. So back to the example of Eminem, I'm sure he could afford 1 million Rolexes at this point, but in his mind, he potentially has the mindset still that he has to cling on to his money, he has to save, he has to be really fiscal, financially frugal with his money, because he brought that up from childhood, and that's where that comes from. It's like when you see celebrities going from marriage to marriage and they're always failing, what do you think their concept of self-on-love is? It's like other celebrities where their weight constantly goes up and down, up and down. What do you think their health mindset is? You can see it everywhere around you. Your mentality creates your your circumstances. So if you are going to walk into every situation with a negative mindset and assign it a negative meaning, this is the outcome. But especially specifically with SP, because that's what I get the most correspondence on, if you're going to assign the meaning that everything's working out for you guys, and you're like they breathe, they live and breathe for you. No matter what, they're always coming for you. Who else would they choose besides you? When you're already at number one, you can't get any higher. So where are they going to go from you? They're lucky that you even talk to them. If you're going in it with that energy, that mindset, it's going to pan out for you. But if you're coming with your hands like this, begging for their attention, you're going to get back that needy, no contact, lack of response from them. I'm telling you because I've been through it. If y'all have questions about this, you know what to do. I love y'all, but not as much as you should be loving yourselves. Have a beautiful, blessed Tuesday. Bye.